So, picture this. I'm in my little bike shop, wrench in hand, live streaming a gear tune-up to my 50 loyal YouTube viewers when the door slams open so hard the bell nearly flies off. In storms Cheryl, our HOA queen, clipboard gripped like she's about to declare martial law. Her face is redder than the sunset over Lakewood, Ohio. She's got this tank top screaming, "HOA boss, it's a lifestyle." And I'm thinking, lady, this is about to cost me something. Probably my sanity. I'm Jake, by the way. Just a guy trying to keep my bike shop afloat and my Airbnb cabin out back booked to pay the bills. That cabin, it's my lifeline, pulling in 60% of my income, and it's been packed solid for 3 summers straight. But Cheryl's standing there, flip-flops smacking the floor, demanding I hand it over right now for some family she claims is in crisis. My chat's blowing up with Karen alert memes, and I pause the stream, already bracing for whatever nonsense is coming. Jake, this is an emergency, she barks, like I've personally caused a global disaster. My cousin's family from Budapest, Lydia and her kids. They lost everything. Their business collapsed. They're refugees. And they need your cabin to stay safe while her husband sorts out the legal mess. Outside, I see a minivan with a woman, Lydia, I'm guessing, head in her hands, looking wrecked, and 2 kids in the back staring out like they're lost. My gut twists. Nobody wants to see a family hurting. But then I notice something off. Lydia is clutching a Gucci bag that looks like it costs more than my truck, and she's nervously swiping apps shut on her phone every time Cheryl glances her way. I try to stay calm. I explain that my cabin's booked with paying guest families who've planned vacations, paid deposits, the whole deal. I feel for them, Cheryl. I do, but I can't just cancel on people who've trusted me with their summer plans. Her face morphs like I've just admitted to kicking puppies. What's more important, Jake? Money or human lives, she shrieks, hands flailing like she's conducting a symphony of guilt. My chat's going wild, pointing out the designer luggage, and I'm starting to wonder why a refugee family who's supposedly broke is traveling with gear that could fund my shop for a year. Lydia steps inside, quiet, almost shaky, and corrects Cheryl's pronunciation of Budapest like it's a reflex. It's Budapest, actually. Her accent's crisp, her English flawless, and she's clutching that phone like it's a ticking bomb. I mention the luggage, trying to be diplomatic, and Cheryl waves it off. Gifts from before their crisis. Jake, you can't expect them to throw away their last nice things. Lydia nods, but her eyes won't meet mine, and she's checking her phone every 10 seconds, like she's waiting for a ransom note. The whole thing feels staged, like a bad community theater play where everyone's reading from a script but me. My viewers are eating it up, flooding the chat with, "Something's fishy," and, "Check their story." I tell Cheryl I need documentation, anything to prove their situation, and she looks at me like I've asked for her firstborn. "You're heartless, Jake," she snaps and storms out, leaving me with a sinking feeling that this isn't just HOA drama. Within hours, my phone's blowing up. Neighbors are texting, calling, posting on Nextdoor about how I'm a selfish jerk for not helping a desperate family. Cheryl's social media crusade paints me as the Grinch of Lakewood. And by nightfall, there's a prayer circle, yes, a prayer circle, in my front yard, complete with signs about community compassion. I'm trying to keep my cool, but when I see Lydia slip out of the minivan at dusk, frantically deleting messages from someone labeled, "Ops Lead," in her phone's reflection, my blood runs cold. What kind of refugee gets texts from an "Ops Lead"? A few days later, the supposed patriarch, Ivan, shows up at our community barbecue, stepping out of a black SUV like he's auditioning for a Hollywood blockbuster. This guy's got jeans that cost more than my rent, a haircut that screams, "I spent 3 hours in a salon," and an accent so polished it sounds like he's narrating a BBC documentary. He hugs Lydia with this rehearsed, Oscar-worthy emotion, thanking everyone for saving his family while the neighbors clap like they're at a revival. But I'm watching him tip the coffee cart kid $50, then overhear him tell Mrs. Larson he's down to his last 20. The math ain't mathing, folks. Cheryl's in full dictator mode now, emailing me HOA violations for things like grass 0.3 inches too long and a mailbox slightly off-white. She's out there at dawn with a ruler, measuring my hedges, posting photos to shame me online. My Airbnb bookings start tanking. 6 cancellations in a week after neighbors call my guests, telling them I'm a monster who hates refugees. I'm losing money. My reputation's in the gutter. And I'm starting to doubt myself. Maybe I am the bad guy here, too stubborn to help people in need. But then my old army buddy Nate rolls into town. We called him Tank back in the day, and he's got this quiet intensity. Works for some government agency, maybe Homeland Security, but he's cagey about it. I spill everything over beers, Ivan's weird infrastructure photos, Lydia's sketchy phone habits, the stories that don't add up. Nate listens, sipping his drink, then says, "Jake, Eastern Europe's a hotbed for cybercrime rings, sophisticated ones. Document everything, photos, texts, conversations, legally, of course. Trust your gut. It kept us alive in Iraq." He hands me a card with a private number. Call if it gets weird. Like, really weird. Things get really weird a week later. I'm walking my dog Rusty at night when I hear Ivan on his phone, speaking what sure as hell isn't Hungarian. It's Russian. And I know enough from my deployment days to catch phrases like, grid vulnerabilities, and Operation Sync. When he spots me, he switches to English, babbling about Budapest's weather like a bad actor forgetting his lines. Rusty stops dead, staring at him like even my dog knows this guy's full of it. Lydia is watching from the van, her face pale, like she's trapped in a nightmare she can't escape. By now, the neighborhood's a war zone. Cheryl's got half the block boycotting my shop, and I'm getting dirty looks at the grocery store. One day, I'm picking out apples when Cheryl ambushes me, phone out, filming like she's Spielberg. "Here's Jake, the guy who'd rather count cash than save kids," she yells, and 20 neighbors conveniently shopping at the same time start whispering and glaring. I snap. "Cheryl, their kids have better gear than my paying guests, Gucci bags, iPhones, the works. If they're refugees, I'm the damn Pope." The crowd gasps. Phones start recording. And Lydia, standing at the edge, looks away, guilty as hell. That night, I catch Lydia outside my shop, whispering into her phone. "Ivan, I can't keep lying to these people. They're good folks, and we're tearing them apart." Her voice cracks, desperate. "I know what you said would happen, but this isn't right." She spots my shop lights, hangs up fast, and bolts. The next morning, I find $200 in my mailbox with a note in her handwriting, "I'm sorry." My gut's screaming now. This isn't about housing anymore. I start live streaming my evening walks, partly for safety, partly to catch Ivan slipping up. One night, I record him on his porch, video calling someone about network penetration protocols and synchronized execution. My chat loses it, spamming, "WTF is this?" When Ivan sees me, he flips to talking about Budapest fog, but it's too late. The clip's already viral. I send it to Nate, who calls back, voice deadly serious. "Jake, keep recording, but don't tip them off. This is national security now." Victor's real name is Ivan Kovalenko, wanted by Interpol for ransomware attacks on European hospitals. People died when ventilators shut down. My stomach drops. My little cabin, my lifeline, sits right at the center of Lakewood's power substation, fiber optic hub, and water treatment plant. Ivan didn't want just any house, he needed mine for its high-speed internet to hack critical systems. Nate makes me a confidential informant, hands me gear straight out of a spy movie, a pin that's a mic, a phone case with a hidden camera. I'm terrified, one wrong move, and I'm toast. The HOA meeting's the grand showdown. Cheryl calls it to vote on Lakewood Soul, inviting local news to shame me into giving up my cabin. 40 neighbors pack the community center, cheering as Ivan delivers a tearjerker speech about American kindness. I'm in the front row, wired up, heart pounding, knowing Nate's team is outside. Then Ivan slips, talking to his lawyers about grid access confirmed and execution on signal. My gear catches every word. Suddenly, the room shakes. Helicopter rotors, SUV engines, spotlights flooding the windows. DHS storms in, tactical gear and all. Ivan bolts, shouting, "How did they find us?" But agents tackle him, ripping open briefcases filled with hacking gear, not legal papers. Neighbors apologize, some crying, some too ashamed to look at me. Mrs. Carter, who'd baked Ivan cookies, brings me pies for weeks, muttering, "I should have known those kids' teeth were too perfect." 6 months later, Ivan's locked up for life. His crew gets decades, and Lydia's in witness protection after spilling the network secrets. Cheryl gets 2 years for obstruction, still trying to run her prison block like an HOA meeting. My cabin's now Patriot Haven, booked solid with tourists wanting to stay where a terror plot got busted. I'm not scared. My gut's been right before, and I've got Rusty and a new mission, Freedom Spoke Academy, where I teach kids to fix bikes and question everything. So, what do you think? Ever been pressured to trust someone sketchy because everyone else did? Drop a comment. Let's talk about gut instincts, community drama, and spotting the wolves in sheep's clothing. Smash that like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next story where things get even crazier. Stay sharp, folks.